real business owner.
Whatever your situation is currently is not your forever situation.
That's really what real business owners is, man. Like, we don't care where you come from, where are you going?
Our goal and our job is to reduce the mistakes that you have to make or the money that you have to lose.
You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be successful, don't give up.
You learn, adjust, and continue to move forward.
Welcome back to the Real Business Owners Podcast. This is episode 100. 100. We keep it 100. So, it seemed like it went by kind of quick.
Yeah.
You know, like...
I never even really thought about 100. I remember at 52, though, I was like, oh, man, that's a full year because we do one episode every week. Well, I'm like, that's cool. But then last week when we were talking about how this is the 100th, I was like, holy shit, already.
Yeah,
it seems like we just did the 52 one.
Yeah, it's flying by for sure. So we wanted to do something fun for this episode and just kind of engage with you guys a little bit more. So for the 100th episode, just for celebration purposes and, you know, the fact that you guys have shown us the support that you have, we wanted to do a giveaway. Kale, why don't you tell them a little bit about the giveaway?
So we decided to give away some hundreds since it's our 100th episode, right? So, you know, it's obviously for you guys that chime in and actually listen to the podcast, right? Like, you know, like obviously there's 100,000 people on the Instagram page, but you know, what, 10,000 listen to the episodes, you know? So the people that actually support us, we wanted to give an opportunity for you guys to just give away some fun cash. Yeah. We're building the page, realbusinessowners.com/100. And on there, you guys just fill out your information. And I think it's just name, email, phone number. We're gonna text the winners, right? But what do they got to do to get the cash?
So like Kale said, you just go to our website, realbusinessowners.com/100, and then there's gonna be the instructions on the site, right? The instructions are basically gonna be, you know, out of the 4 platforms that we have, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, you need to be following or subscribed to 3 out of those 4. You know, if you do 4 for 4, obviously, you know, we would definitely appreciate it. But we understand maybe not everybody has TikTok or everybody, you know, some people maybe prefer Facebook and they don't even have an Instagram yet and they found us that way. You know, so some people are very one platform, right? But anybody that has a Gmail account has by default a YouTube account. So you can log in directly from your Gmail account, and all the episodes are to put on YouTube. And there's also additional clips, like 10-minute clips, things like that we don't really post on Instagram that are also on the YouTube channel as well. So again, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are the 4 platforms that we're going to be trying to focus on a little bit more this year. You know, right now we're a little over 99,000 followers on Instagram. So we're right around 100,000 followers. And we're at our 100th episode. And so what we wanted to do is give 10 people $100. And then we're going to give one person $1,000. So basically we're giving away a couple grand to incentivize you guys to, you know, go out there and support us a little bit more on some of the other channels that maybe you haven't. And we think that, you know, by doing so, you know, there's an opportunity to win money, and we think that that's a pretty good incentive, right? Yeah. We've asked at the end of every episode. So,
there's a lot of people that you know, engage with us a lot, right? They're sending us DMs, they're shooting us messages, they're asking for advice. We give them advice. Yeah. So then they try and do us a solid by sharing, engaging, you know, commenting, sharing with friends. Like we see those tags as well. So man, we really appreciate those people, man. So, you know, all the people that are really engaging with our stuff, man, those are the people we want to put in for the $1,000. Yeah. So we're gonna do like almost like a separate poll or something. Yeah. You know, the 100s will be pretty random for everyone that just follows the steps, but the 1,000 we're gonna pull the people that, you know, engage with us a lot and do kind of a separate drawing and give them $1,000.
Yeah. So when you go to the site, you'll basically just put your name, phone number, and email in. And that's how we're going to notify the winners, right?
Yeah, dude, our DMs, we get a lot of DMs. Yeah. So we're like, we're going to add this field on our website. So you put in your cell phone number, we can text you if you win directly. And that way we don't got to sift through all the DMs.
And secondly, when we eventually start doing masterminds, throwing events or whatever it is, you know, we'll just again, we're not going to shoot you text messages every single day or every week or every month. Maybe a couple times a year, you'll see some text messages come through if we have an announcement or something to make that you might want to be a part of. So
we're not spammers.
we're not going to do that. We don't have the time to sit there and come up with new spam shit. Like, we're already busy enough. So anyways, now we're going to jump into the 100th episode, and we thought it would be a good idea to just kind of reflect back on, the last 99 episodes, and share maybe some of the things that we think that you should be taking very, very seriously, right? Maybe some nuggets that we've shared in the past, and we're just going to kind of mow over those again and talk about the importance of those again, because at the end of the day, we get caught up in just day-to-day life, and we get on this good path, this healthy path, and we start feeling good, and then we fall off, right? Yeah. Like, that's just life in general. And so at the end of the day, we all just need to pull the reins back in a little bit, assess ourselves, and really ask ourselves the question, are we doing everything that we possibly can to put ourselves in the best situation that we possibly can? In most cases, the answer is going to be no. I know I'm guilty of it annually, right? 100%. Everybody goes through ups and downs. So we're not saying, hey, we're sitting on a mountain and we're always good and you guys aren't. That's not the case. Like, this is information that we share with you as constant reminders to ourselves to stay true to our habits, stay true to the things that we know work and that definitely serve us, our businesses, our families, whatever it may be, right?
Right.
And so the biggest takeaway for me is just, at the end of the day, your habits are the thing that create who you are as an individual, right? If I drink every single night, that habit's going to convert me over to an alcoholic, right?
Right.
You're called an alcoholic based upon the fact that you have a habit of drinking every day, right? Somebody that has a habit of exercising every day, somebody might look at that person and say, that person looks like an athlete.
Yeah.
Or they're very fit, right? That's based upon their habits. So we are our habits, 100%. Right? And so I wanted to go over just some of the things that I think are important, because in business, just in general, it's very taxing on our bodies, on our minds, the stress that we carry as entrepreneurs on a day-to-day basis. Hell, the stress that people even carry just working for somebody else, right? There's still stresses.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, entrepreneurship is, it is a step above. So if your boss or whoever you work for, is having a rough day, go up to him and ask him what you could do, or go up to her and ask her what you could do to take a little bit of weight off their shoulders. And that can serve you long term, because they are carrying a lot, right? And you that are entrepreneurs, you already know what we're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
And so, this last year, I think everybody felt a little off mentally, emotionally, whatever, physically, all that stuff. And I was no different, right? And so this last year, I wanted to, take my health very, very seriously and check off all the boxes, right? And try to do the things that I know will serve my body and put my body in the best health situation it possibly can be, because of the amount of stress that we carry as business owners. And so some of the habits that I think that maybe you guys aren't thinking about, or some of the things that you might want to start thinking about outside of just, waking up early, moving your body, exercising. Those are things that everybody should be doing to be able to perform at their peak, right? Yeah. At the office too, right? Like, yes, it serves you physically, but your body's it's a part of your mind, right? It's just, it's attached to the mind. That's why the signals are so connected. You cut yourself, your mind says, hey, that hurts, right? And so it's very connected. We know that provided you get up, you move your blood in the morning, you're going to have a clearer mind throughout the day and not be quite as foggy, or it's not going to take as long to wake up when you get to the office, right? Those are some of the obviouses. But I think getting your hormones checked is a very important thing. I know that we have a buddy in Vegas. I think you went down and met with Spinozo.
Yeah, he did my blood work. He
did the blood work and stuff, and and I used somebody here locally here in St. George.
Well, I didn't even have to go to Vegas.
You got the blood work done here?
He submitted a ticket to a lab. I went in right here in town and did it, and then he called me. We went over shit.
Oh, okay, cool.
And we figured out what we needed, and he started ordering me up some of my peptides and shit to get my my shit balanced back out, right?
And so this is something that me and Kale have both done.
Yeah,
He's got our
you can
blood
do it
work
anywhere.
done. Yeah. And see what you're deficient in. When I first went in, my adrenals were through the roof, and they said that's kind of like fight or flight. Either you're under a high amount of stress or fear or something of that nature, right? And so I said, you can check the stress boxes, we're running businesses around here, so that's a given, right? And so getting your hormones checked is important, whether you're male or female, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's your testosterone levels, you're low on vitamin D, vitamin E, all of these various vitamins that are going to help your body function at its peak. And with the amount of stress that we're putting on our bodies, some of you guys are on the go so much just as an entrepreneur, you're eating shitty foods, right? Like you hit the drive, like time is of the essence, right? Yeah. So it's all about speed. Like I need to hurry and grab a bite. And usually when you're hurrying and grabbing a bite, it's garbage ass food, which ultimately means there's not enough nutrients in that food. So in some cases, you're going to need supplements in order to supplement where you're deficient, right? And you're not going to know where you're deficient unless you go get your blood work done, right?
Right.
And so that's really what it comes down to on the hormone side of things, where you're good and where you're not good. Those are very, very important. So if you're exhausted all the time, that's really was my case, right? I just felt like no matter the amount of sleep that I got, I was always just exhausted. And I was like, chugging caffeine. It got to the point where it was like 400 milligrams a day. And I'm like, this just ain't right. Like, I don't want to freaking live on 400, 500 milligrams of caffeine a day just to get out of bed and go through the day and be productive. Like that's not healthy. And that's probably one of the reasons why my adrenals also were through the roof, because it does affect the caffeine side of things, right? I do get IVs, vitamins through an IV. Pay like $100 a month and get to go there once a month. They hook me up and, with that little drip, and make sure that I have all the nutrients my body needs as well, right? And so when you get your hormones checked and you get your blood work done, they can tell you where you're deficient, and then you have that information and that data. You can go to an IV therapy place and say, these are where I'm deficient. They can put a bag together for you and put that drip in to make sure that you have the proper nutrition so that your body can perform the way it's supposed to, right? And so, and then lastly, chiropractor. Yeah. Right. I think people should be seeing a chiropractor as well, making sure they're aligned and, all is well. We put such a toll on our body physically and mentally and all that, just running around and doing everything that we're doing. I just think it's important that we take time to take care of ourselves. Yeah. Let's just be real. That gets put on the back burner. I would say a lot of people that are going through startup phase, they're so invested into their business that their health just falls to the wayside. And usually when you're first coming into money, like I know, I was pushing a couple 100 pounds, I'm down 35 pounds from that now, right? But you get to a point where you're so focused on your financial future that you just let your health just fall to the wayside. It's no longer important because the one thing that you're trying to do is secure your financial future. But there's a way to balance both of them.
Well, you start slipping for your people at work, your people at home. It's just this really slow thing that you don't even recognize it until you really fucking recognize it. Yeah, and it's to the point where it's like fucking much harder of a battle back uphill, right?
Exactly.
And so, dude, I was just telling my wife the other day, I said, listen, I felt a lot better when I was going to see the chiropractor every week.
Yeah.
Or not every week, every 2 weeks. I was going to him every 2 weeks. And during all that shit, we both talked about, he's fucking making us wear a mask, dude. So we stopped going. I haven't went to anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, I need to get back to that.
The place I go to doesn't require it, not through any of that.
I won't do it. That's the other thing. I don't believe in that shit. I told my wife, I'm like, our kids, schools tell us that they're doing that again this year. I said, we're out. Yeah. We're just not doing it at all. So
yeah, we didn't send ours last year. Because of it. It's not necessarily. It has nothing to me to do with COVID. To me, it has something to do with the mental
100%
side of it. Like I just don't want to put something over my child's face. Yeah. That's just my take.
My older kids, I feel like are suffering the most, and I allowed them to go because they're involved with team sports at school and shit. Yeah. And so I didn't want to take that away from them. Right. Yeah. So they got all this stuff going on, and I'm like, we're not doing it next year.
Yeah.
Figure out how to play sports and not go to school.
Well, now you guys know our take on that. Yeah. If it hasn't been transparent enough in the Instagram stories, So I don't want to put that stuff on the main feed and just make it all about that, because we want to keep it about business and all that. But they say your stories are kind of the background, or whatever, behind the scenes, right? That's a little bit more about the way that we think and the way that we feel about shit. We love America. We fucking want freedom. That's why we love America, is because of some of the freedoms that we're allotted. If somebody wants to wear fucking 10 masks, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to tell you to take them off, but don't tell me to put my shit on. That ain't nobody's business. That's my business in between. That's my health. I'm not going to walk up to you and knock that Mountain Dew out of your damn hands, even though I know that shit's garbage for you. Right? So let's call it what it is. The people that are, putting 30 masks over their face, a lot of cases, nutrition isn't the highest level. That's their form of nutrition, right?
Taking care of themselves.
Safety. That's their health safety. I prefer the real way, exercising, moving my body, hydrating, maybe getting some IV therapy, getting my hormones checked, making sure that my body's performing at the peak, going to a chiropractor, things like that. That's my nutrition. That's the way that I take care of my health. And so I'm good, right? Don't worry about me, So that's here we go. We opened up a whole another door.
Exactly.
That's episode 101.
I can't let the mask be my excuse not to take care of myself either. Dude, I wouldn't go to the gym when they were making us wear them at the gym. I wouldn't go to the chiropractor, right? But I did feel better going to the gym and the chiropractor, so I had to figure out alternatives. I haven't figured out alternative for the chiropractor yet. I'm like, shit, I need to go find one.
He told me he's not taking any more clients.
That's all right. Maybe I'll go back to Bo. Bo was actually a stud. I only went to the other guy because he's right by my house. It was more convenient.
Yeah, it is more convenient that way.
I'll have to go back in. But dude, you do feel better when you getting that adjustment every couple weeks.
Well, here's how I look at it, right? We get so focused on the financial side of things that we let our health slide. But imagine how much better you could perform and be focused on what you're trying to do, provided your body and your mind were just in sync. And your 8 hours of performance at a top performer level where their health is in check and everything is good, I guarantee is going to be more efficient than somebody 12 hours that's just feeling like shit, that's exhausted, that's grinding themselves into the ground, right? It's about efficiency. How efficient can somebody be when they just really don't feel good, right? And that's really what it comes down to. Take that hour. The drip takes an hour, right? I usually schedule it at 4:30, dip out of the office at 4, an hour early or whatever.
You notice a big difference in it?
Huh?
You notice a big difference in it?
Dude, the very next day when I wake up, I'm like, phew.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Springing out of bed, dude. It feels great. Well, they do the hangover IV shit, right? And people are like, dude.
Oh, I have done that once.
You did the hangover IV thing and it worked?
Yeah.
Within an hour or just immediate?
You did feel better, but they put shit in there that I didn't like. They put in this Zofran thing because it's an anti-nausea that they give, chemo patients and shit like that. And I'm just like, I wanted to feel better in that moment, so I did it. But I'm like, oh, I don't want that kind of shit in there.
Yeah.
Some pharmaceutical bullshit.
Yeah.
Some vitamins and stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Look it over that A, B, C, D, dog, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, any of them, you know? And all the letters besides Zofran.
Yeah.
Forget the Z.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It might not be that harmful or whatever. I just felt like, well, what the fuck? What else?
But it did work.
You know?
You felt better after, though?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did.
I haven't tried that yet.
But do you know what, bro? Here's the thing. I go out drinking. Physically, I felt better. It doesn't do anything for you mentally.
Yeah.
You know, I still got into a fucking drinking blues for a few days afterwards. So, you know, it's an area that I've always struggled with. So I drink a lot less, right?
Yeah.
But when I do it.
That's a self-aware. Damn, I don't feel good for 3 days after one fun night. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll slow that down a little bit, right? And as you get older, you have more data, realizing damn, this shit really knocks me out for 2 or 3 days where I'm not as effective.
It's not moving me closer to where I want to fucking be.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So what's your take on the last 99 episodes?
You know, being a better you is a huge part of it, right? And you know, you're covering some great shit, especially on the health side. Because if you feel better health-wise, you're going to feel better mentally too. Yeah. But you got to be conscious of that stuff, man. I mean, even as I've been writing this book, right, which I finally am to the point where I'm going to submit that shit for first round of editing, all of it's about your network. So it's really, I haven't even come up with the name yet, but it's something about networking. but everybody that's around you is a part of your network, right? And so your employees are part of your network, man. Your web dev guy, your programmer, the people you surround yourself with. I mean, everybody is a part of your network, and there's a ton of opportunities within your network.
Yeah, but it could be somebody that you literally just meet at the gym for the first time, and then they know you own easier accounting. Yeah. You're like, hey, I have a buddy that needs help with that.
The guy that built my house just came up and introduced himself to me at the gym, right? And he made a fuck ton of money off me building my house.
What about the welder?
Which one? Oh yeah, at the hospital. Yeah. I need to get back to him to have him start.
Was listening to the podcast or follows our Instagram or something, and came up and introduced himself. And you said, "What do you do?" or whatever. I was
in her hospital. We're waiting for the doctor to come out. Yeah. She was struggling. She's on her deathbed, and this guy just walks by. He had scrubs on. He works at the hospital, but he moved here from California, and his side business is welding. He's like, "Dude, I've been welding my whole life. Like, I'm starting it up. I want to go full time into it." He's like. But yeah, you walk by, he's like, "Are you Kale from Easier Accounting?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And he's like, "Dude, I listen to your guys' podcast." Like, anyway, he loved our shit. And he's just like, so after talking to him for just a minute, as I was waiting for the doctor, he's like, "Hey man, I actually told him, I was like, "Hey man, I actually got some ironwork I need done for my backyard. I need to get some back gates done. It's, loft for the whole pool thing and everything." So he actually came over, dude, worked me up a quote, and we're working on reducing the quote because I had this big idea for my back insurance. I'm like, I ain't gonna pay $20,000 for that, dude.
Exactly.
I thought it'd be cool, but I didn't know how much it would be, and it's not that important to me to do for $20,000. There's other cool shit I could do with $20,000 than my back gate, right? Yeah. So anyway, we're redoing that part of the bid, but yeah, he's gonna get started on the other shit.
But that's what I'm talking about. Just somebody randomly. You went up, and all of a sudden, now you guys are in each other's network and doing some business together.
I'm a part of his network, dude. Yeah, exactly. I could be a client of his, right? Exactly. I'm gonna be. So I mean, dude, that's the thing is people need to really focus on all the opportunity around them, dude. It's like that's your network, right? And you need to think about it at all levels. Like, even if you are just an employee right now, do you know how many employees or how many of my old bosses I've done business with now?
Yeah.
Do you know how many have actually came to work for us at some point later on? Like, we've had a couple people that were our managers and have become our employees, right?
Well, what about also for former employees leaving to go start a business, and then they keep coming back in the office, just like the meeting that you had today was a former employee that went off and started his own business, and now he's trying to franchise it and wants to refer all the franchisees to Easier Accounting.
Yeah.
Why would he reach out to you if he actually hated you as an employer?
Exactly.
He wouldn't do it. So he was a part of your network, and he was an employee. But people aren't connecting the dots like that. Any human interaction at all, that individual is now considered a part of your network, or that individual is going to take something and label you as something.
Yeah.
Kel's a badass motherfucker. I met him at the hospital in 2 seconds, and then he told me to come over and bid a job.
Yeah.
That's the interaction. And you want these interactions to be positive, right? Yeah. So that you leave a lasting impression. But I just think people only are eyeballing like somebody that could do something for them right now, right? Like, man, I really want to get in contact with Kale because he's at this certain level and he can hook me up with a certain amount. No, again, it's great to have those aspirations and have like a Dream 25 list, right?
Of who
valuable. You want to do business with or connect with. Cool.
But what are you doing to make them want to do business with you?
But don't just skirt past all the other people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Maybe they know somebody that's at a high level, but you're just like, what? Like that. I think that's the issue is we maybe get so laser focused on the top of the people that we really would love to try to have in our network, but we're disregarding the daily interactions that we have with people around the office or people out in the world, right?
Right. Well, and that's it, man. It's like, what are you doing to be approachable? What are you doing to be approaching, right? Like, how do you treat people? Like, all these things play a factor. And you're not going to treat people the greatest if you don't take care of yourself. You're not going to treat people the greatest if you have anger issues. If you are just staying in this bubble that you're not even really aware of your shit. And so I think there's a lot of value, man, in the health aspect side of things like we talked about. I think there's a lot of value in the mental health as well. You know, like my life completely shifted when I went and I fucking worked with somebody and actually did the work for 3, 4, 5 years. My guy was a therapist. Your guy might be a coach. Whatever it is, but you've got to work on yourself in all these aspects, personally, physically, everything. It's so important. And so, but dude, networking's been a huge thing for me. Like, and as I write this book, man, I'm like, man, I really just want people, and we've talked on it a lot of our episodes in the past. I really want people to stop suppressing your best version of you. Like, don't hold it back. Like, be willing to put yourself out there. Like a lot of times, and I catch myself doing it all the time. We all have insecurities, right? At different levels. Some people are far more insecure than other people. And you're not going to be more secure, more confident until you work on it, right? It takes practice, and it takes practice over time. And so, I really want people to stop, suppressing that real person of themselves in there, and a lot of people are like, I don't know who I am, right? I don't know who I am. Well, that fucking joke that you think's funny that you might not think a bunch of other people think are funny, right? But so you don't tell the joke or whatever. Like, dude, that's your you. That's your real you.
Tell the joke.
Like, fucking tell your joke. The right people will laugh at it. And it's like that. That's just kind of an analogy for what it is. Like, you want to attract the right people to you to build your network.
Yeah.
And so you really do have to kind of tap into that real shit. And it really, we all care what people think at some level, but you just got to fucking put yourself out there and not worry about what everybody thinks all the fucking time. Like, fucking post the weird shit that, you might think someone else thinks is weird, so you don't post it, whether it is social media or whether it is, get up and talk at an event, get up and talk at a family event, get up and talk at a company event. Like, be approachable, be approaching, and you can really start doing some magnificent things by building your network around you, even if you are just an employee right now, or even if you are a startup, or maybe you've been in business for a long fucking time, but you're still kind of
in your shell.
Yeah, you're in your shell.
You haven't put yourself out there and said, hey, look at me. Yeah. You're just kind of quietly like, hey, maybe I should just do some ads, and you're trying to
hide.
Yeah,
world,
hide
like,
behind an ad, or whatever, rather than letting people know who you really are, right? I mean, look at us, right? Here we are on a podcast, just kind of speaking openly and freely, and this is who we are. We just went off on a 10-minute fucking mask thing. Yeah. 10 minutes ago, and that's just who we are,
me,
right?
Like just seeing what we've been able to produce from the podcast. And that wasn't easy for us to do at first. No. Or jumping on social media, or just being willing to put ourselves out there, even though someone might disagree with us or hate on us, right?
You remember
all that shit does feel weird, especially when it's new.
Well, you remember like the first time you got asked to be a guest on a podcast? Like, it's nerve-wracking. You're like, damn. This is like, it feels
similar
a lot
to
of
jumping
pressure.
on a stage and speaking to a crowd of people the first time.
You get nervous as shit. Yeah. But you've got to overcome that, right?
That's where the gains are, man. Like, I'll tell you, I jumped on that stage the very first time, and I'm like sitting there like, oh man, I know what I'm going to talk about and all this shit. I don't need to prepare that much, right? Yeah. All this stuff. I jump up, and there's like 50, 60 people in the crowd, so it wasn't like this huge crowd. I wasn't really psyching myself out. Once they called me on stage, like it was my turn to get up there, oh shit, my heart started pounding, blood was rushing, my vision was impaired, my fucking tongue dried up. Like, I'm like, I get up there, my slides aren't working that I did prepare. I only prepared like 6 slides, so I didn't have that long of a presentation. And I'm like, where's some water at, man? Like, oh my gosh, someone give me a water. And I'm like, why aren't these slides working? Everything got thrown off. Yeah. So I had to wing it, right? But I put myself in a position where I had to force it. Yeah. I signed up. I agreed to it. I showed up that day, and even though I got super fucking nervous, I totally flopped. I bombed totally. But I did. I
think it's just like, again, over judging. Yeah. Because it didn't feel like that. You understand that everything's going wrong, and you understand your feelings, but I'm not feeling your feelings. I'm just in the audience watching you, and it seemed fine. Yeah. Everything seemed fine, but we just
you weren't there at the first one.
Oh,
I went and talked to that Forex group.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one up in Salt Lake when the slide didn't work.
Yeah, that one didn't work too, and then I felt bad after that one too.
But you crushed the one in Arizona. You fucking murdered that one, dude. You murdered that one.
Yeah, I did a couple good ones I felt good about, and I've had a few that were just okay. And then, I always just feel like I could do better, which we can, which is cool. But we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. There's no problem with that. But I will always admire the fucking dude or chick that fucking jumps up and just does it, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because that's where the reward is. Every presentation I've ever done, whether I bombed or not, I always had a decent amount of people come up to me afterwards wanting to talk about our services or what we can do or how, and now they're a part of my network, right? Like they're reaching out to me wanting to do business together. And so putting yourself out there is super valuable, even if you lack confidence. Just force it. It's something you have to force. It's something you have to practice, just like anything else. And so I want to encourage people to do that, right? And like that's what I always kind of go back to. And that's even what I'm writing my book about. I want to encourage people to put yourself out there because that's where the results are, right? And the shit that you do shine at, you don't know if you're good at it until you do it. And you do it enough time to become good at it. And typically once you do become good at it, you start to like it. And when you start to like it because you're good at it,
everybody likes what they're
more
good
and more and more, you're attracting more and more and more opportunity to you, right?
Exactly.
Opportunity to help people, inspire people, do business with people, employ people, give business to people, get business from people. Like it inspires all of that. And so
that's a good way to help build your network too, is just send referrals to people that you want to do business with.
Be a connector.
Right? Connect them and they're like, hey, what do you want? Nothing. I just, want to connect two people that I know are good people that do good business. And so I thought there would be some synergy here. We've done that several times, even with, the whole Everbold deal, the franchise deal, people that have followed the Instagram page or podcast. Hey, I've got money. What should I do? Other people, probably 3 or 4 people. I've said, hey, and I've just done a text between
I want nothing from it.
Between Wags and them, and just seeing if it works out, right? I don't know if it did or didn't, but it was just like, hey, I know you, I know this person, both great people. Let's connect them. And then guess what? The good karma's out in the world, and it'll come back some way, shape, or form that I won't probably be able to measure. I just trust that it will, right?
Yeah, dude, that's like the ultimate secret of networking is like you connect somebody or help somebody or bring value to somebody without really any expectation of anything in return. Like, they're naturally going to want to do more stuff with you. Your opportunity will come. Like, you do got to be willing to ask for business too, and receive and ask for help. And you can't just be like the giver all the time. You got to be the receiver too. But at the end of the day, that is like one of the ultimate secrets. Like, bring people to value to people's lives.
Starts with giving, right? It starts with giving, and trying to bring value to other people. So eventually, that again, we just talked about it. It's the law of reciprocity. Is you give enough, and then people just kind of like, man, Kale's hooked me up like quite a bit in the last month or two. Like, what can I do for him? Because I'm seeing value from it, right? And so it's like, I'm going to want to now reciprocate, right? And give you value somehow, right? And it's just, it's the right thing to do as well, If you see that two people could do something together and it would be a good fit, put them together and see what happens.
Absolutely.
But don't send a bunk ass person to something.
Don't try to harm people.
like flat out. Sometimes people are like, hey, what's up with so and so?
Sometimes
and I'm like, hey,
that was too late.
I'm not co-signing for that motherfucker. Like you know what I mean? Like, hey, they got this, they got that, but like,
be real with people.
Like set proper expectations. Like, I ain't gonna send a dirtbag to Kale and just be like, hey, you guys should do business. It's just that's they're not gonna want to reciprocate.
Exactly. When I think back on the 100 episodes, though, I just feel like that's a really common thing. Is like we're constantly trying to push people to just have a little more will in your life, a little more willingness to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to fail forward. You're gonna have to do things and get uncomfortable. I mean, it's like the pattern of what we talk about in our episodes over and over and over again. And I hope we just continue to inspire people to do that. And a lot of times, I just feel like it comes back to these insecurities of like, you just care too much what other people think. But a lot of that shit that you care what other people think is all made up in your head as well. Like, dude, let's be real. Like, you think like, oh, I don't want to make this post. Someone's going to think this about me or that. You're making these stories up in your head, and you're allowing yourself to talk yourself out of being the real version of you. And being the real version of you is really what's going to attract more and more people to want to do business with you. And they're going to, like, dude, when I see someone that flops, like they probably think that I'm just like judging them like, like, oh, fuck, this guy sucks or whatever, right? But really, I'm inspired. Like, damn, dude, this was tough for you. And, like, you're putting yourself out there. And, like, I'm actually probably thinking some cool shit, But we make up in our head
that's true.
That we are, like, we make this story up and we allow it to hold us back and suppress our real us, right? Which is holding us back from really growing to that next level.
The only time you ever really judge somebody on stage is if they seem like they're a little slime bally, like... The whole thing is just like pitch fest, right?
Right.
There was a homie on stage at an event that was like pitching, his fund or whatever. And there, here comes the whispers in the crowd. Yeah. Everyone's like, dude, that's like overpriced, or there's fees this, fees here, whatever, right?
It was definitely a price gouge.
It was a price gouge, right?
And they were trying to prey on some ignorant people, and people pick up on that shit.
Well, bro, there wasn't, not in that room. There's not many, and everyone's talking, and everyone's like, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Ain't nobody doing business with that motherfucker.
No.
And that's the only time people are going to really get judged, is when they're just really not coming from an authentic or genuine place. But if you're being authentic and genuine to yourself, being who you are, even if you bomb, you're still connecting with people, right?
Yep.
Because they know that you have more balls to get up there and try to do that than they do, because everybody has the exact same fears.
Exactly.
People fear death. People fear standing out speaking in front of people. All of this is completely normal that 100% of humans have to overcome,
Absolutely.
right? If that's what you're wanting to do and get to that next level. So
that is a very good point too. I mean, if your authentic you is to fuck people, then you're going to struggle, even if you are willing to put yourself out there. But most of the time we don't. Most people don't really come from a place of like, I just want to fuck people over, right? Yeah. It can develop into that, and that's another area that maybe you should focus on.
Well, that was a homie that had like a pretty big name or whatever, and so sometimes when people get really big names, they want to leverage that name and just do whatever they can to have their name basically, kind of get them what they want, right? Yeah. And they're really not worried about anybody else but themselves. And you felt that, you felt that bravado of like
he's probably not a bad person, if you get to know him, right? But like, you could probably put together a deal where everybody could win too. And if that wasn't your intention, like if you're trying to build something to be a cash grab, they're going to find out. They're going to feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So guys, understand this, it's very valid points in terms of networking and in terms of habits and performing at your peak, not suppressing your true self. These are very, very important topics. Let's take a look at this from another perspective here. I guarantee you that there's somebody in a wheelchair right now that's paralyzed that would pay millions of dollars just to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be able to move them.
Yeah.
Yet here we are all listening to a podcast, all able-bodied, but we're choosing to sit on our ass or take the free time that we have just to be lazy.
Yeah.
When there's literally people that would give anything to be able to have the ability to move like you have the ability to move.
Right.
You aren't honoring yourself. You're not honoring, if you believe in a God, you're not honoring God with a body that's built to move by just shoving shit down its throat and then sitting on your ass all day. That's just the truth, right? It's a harsh truth, but look in your mirror, right? Are you the individual that is just going the easy route in every aspect of your life?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, you'll sleep in when you have the ability to do it. You'll eat shit food every chance that you possibly get.
Yeah.
If you have the option to go exercise or not, you choose not. Right? These are things that we really need to be analyzing about ourselves and about our lives. You have the ability to move your body. That is a blessing that some people don't have the ability to do anymore.
Right.
So honor yourself, honor those people that would love to be in the situation that you're in. Move your body.
Yeah.
Feel better about yourself. It's just the way that it works.
Yeah.
Somebody cannot have a whole lot of self-worth when you just know for a fact in your heart you're not doing everything that you can to be your best self. It's so the truth. Even when you're trying to chase your best self and you hit times of struggle and you feel down on yourself, you still have more self-worth than the individual that's not even giving any effort.
Exactly.
And that's just a fact. So there are people that would love to be in the situation that you're in and utilize all the tools that you have available to you that you're not using.
Yeah.
So again, honor yourself, honor other people, honor your kids that are watching you or anybody. Again, you have influence. Everybody has influence. There's somebody in the world that's looking up to you right now that you don't know about, right?
Yeah, you're influencing one way or another.
Dude, we have people text us like, hey, man, your shit's fire, dude. Appreciate it. Just yesterday.
Right.
You guys are a mentor to me without you guys probably even knowing it. All we are doing is just doing our thing and trying to live our best life. and yet it's influencing somebody else for them to try to live their best life.
Right.
Okay, there's somebody.
I mean, we're not above anybody. Sometimes we might be further along than some people.
That's
and we
all
want
it
to
is.
inspire people to get where we're at, just like we're inspired to get to next levels, but it doesn't come without sacrifice.
It's just we've been on the path longer of what we're talking about through habits, through networking, through health, things like that. And again,
don't sleep on financial habits either, man. Like I was thinking about that actually.
Dude. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Like just like someone being in a wheelchair, right? It doesn't have this. There's somebody that would love to just have something to build off of. They have nothing. They're like literally clawing themselves out of like debt in a dead end job, and
been there.
They want to be their own boss or whatever. They're inspired, and you're over there just consuming, buying whatever you want, wasting your money, not thinking about your future. But dude, here's the thing: like, we wouldn't have even the network that we have or some of the affiliates or sources we have if we didn't have the financial ability to invest into those people. Like, how many softwares have we just invested into over the last 2 years that we don't even know if they're going to work out or not, but we invested into them because we believe in their vision, and in return they send us business.
Yeah.
They're now a lead source of ours. Like, but that's the power of like developing better financial habits as well. Like, figure out where you can sacrifice in your health, in your, your mental health, your physical health. Like, figure out where you can sacrifice to get to that next level, because you are influential to somebody. And what type of influence do you want to be to those people, right? But man, I've been thinking a lot about that too lately. I'm just like, man, we're so blessed to have the financial things that we've been able to do, but that didn't come without sacrifice either.
Yeah.
And now we're able to leverage that to actually invest in other people to get them to invest back into us. Yeah. We wouldn't be in the high dollar rooms learning from the high dollar people if we didn't have the money to do that. We wouldn't be at the level that we're at.
The only way that you have money to do that is by being financially disciplined.
I've been in the $50 rooms, guys, and I've been in the six-figure rooms, and I can tell you, you're growing a lot more in the six-figure rooms, but it takes money to get there.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is the main difference, because I had a conversation like last week about this with somebody. They said, "Is there any local groups that are good?"
Yeah.
I was like, we've tried, some local groups or whatever, $50, $100. And what we found in those groups is everybody's like staring at each other like, give me your business.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to give business to anybody. Everyone wants to get business from everybody.
But
right?
how awesome that we actually
it's like a stalemate. It's like a stalemate, right? And you're sitting next to a dude that owns a window washing company, and he's one of one. He's self-employed, which is great. Hopefully he grows that and scales that. But he's like, hey, do you have any commercial buildings that you need windows washed, or your residential or your home? All he cared about was trying to just get my business rather than being like, that's just the phase they're in. They don't understand the big picture of giving something first. And right. And so it was just a smaller minded room in terms of like, they're in the beginning stages trying to grow their business, and they don't have a lot of capital. So they're trying to invest in a group that's very minimal expense to them, to where they feel like that they could use that group to expand their business, which is great. It's terrible, but I get your mentality and the reason why you're trying to do it.
There's big benefits to it.
I would say putting yourself out there, getting uncomfortable, surrounding yourself with other people. I do think that that's a large benefit of it. Sure. But do I think it's going to blow up your business? Probably not.
But you probably don't have the money to go to the six-figure room yet.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you are going to climb up to these different rooms. Some of the rooms we spoke in were like $1,000 rooms.
Yeah.
A little bit more quality is there than 10,000. And you know what I mean? Like, we've been in all these different rooms, and we have all that data to compare it against. So we know the value, but somebody doesn't. If someone's like, hey, I just want to get in some local groups because I only have a few $100 to actually invest in that area, do it.
Yeah, try it.
But
did we get a ton of business from it? No, we didn't. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think everybody should try it, because not everybody's going to have the exact same results at 100% of things, right? Like, we could do the exact same thing and get different results, right? Like, it just is what it is. That, even in mastermind groups, if there's 100 people in a mastermind group, why do some people drop off and some people stay for years? Because everybody's a little bit different and getting different value out of it. Maybe their perception or perspective of the situation is different. There's a lot of differences, but I would say in the smaller groups, everyone's trying to get, and in the bigger groups, everybody's already been through that phase, and they're like, hey, what can I do to help you? How can I serve you? Or they understand that you do good business or big business, they're doing big business, and then all of a sudden they want to do business with you, like not exchange like, hey, referrals, you know, and we do get those, but they want to start businesses with you or present you investments opportunities to invest into other businesses. Right. So it's a whole different level. The bigger rooms, the bigger groups that are far more expensive, they're huge minds in there, and they want the next business, the next business, the next investment, and everyone's communicating, right?
They're
just like an investment that we're getting presented right now, right? Where did we get that investment presented from? From one of the groups that we're in, and they're like, okay, these guys got some dough or whatever. Let's present them and see if they want to invest a little bit of coin into this business venture, right?
Well, a lot of people, those at the rooms we're in now, I'm sure there's rooms even bigger than the rooms we're in, dude. You know, but at the end of the day, like, they're I guess for financially just, you know, solely, right? Like they've already hit these levels, already at this certain level of financially stability. Like they already know their capabilities to get by, make a certain living. Yeah. They're chasing the next level like anybody, right? Like they're like, man, it's personal gains. It is maybe financial gains, or maybe it's just enhancing their network or whatever it is, but it's not necessarily like, I got to figure out how to get an ROA on this investment in this room. They're not in that mindset. They're like in the mindset of like, okay, like how can I level up? They're just chasing another level, right?
Well, I mean, think about
in all aspects.
You know, the Everbowl stuff that we're doing based on a group.
Yeah.
The credit repair company that's now doing really well.
Yeah.
Based contacts in a group.
Yeah.
Right? Like some of the stuff that we've done and that we are doing, and some of the additional investments. I think we have like 7 or 8 I don't even know. We probably should write that shit down, bro.
Yeah,
like all the money that's gone out over the last couple of years in different businesses and different ventures. Obviously, if we sit down and actually think about it, we know. But
like pull all our operating agreements, and
we're throwing money all over the place in the last couple of years because time, you know, we're just busy. So we can't really start another business. So it's really investing into other businesses is really where we're at this point, and letting our money try to make money. Yeah. So,
but that's the value of developing some financial habits along with your health habits, along with your mental habits.
Exactly.
That's the benefit. Like we're talking about basically habits today, but dude, you're willing to sacrifice right now and really develop some of these habits, like financially, mental health. Like, dude, you're going to open up so many more opportunities, and you are going to feel more fulfilled along the way. And so I think that is a good message in all these areas is where can you develop better habits? Mm-hmm. Most people can develop better money habits.
Money habits, health habits, freaking
mental
all of it. All of it. I would set a list of like non-negotiables. Have at least 2 or 3 every single day that you could do no matter where you're at. Right. Whether it's waking up early and exercising or meditating or reading or praying or, you know, whatever your thing is, right? But find a thing that's duplicatable, whether you're at home or you're on vacation or whatever, just 2 or 3 things that are non-negotiable. Yeah. And that's what I've done over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I literally have them written down in my note thing, right?
Yeah, document it.
And I've been honoring that every single day over the last probably 2.5, maybe pushing 3 weeks now. Yeah. And I'm kind of feeling that shift because
that's the thing. Sometimes you slip.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's not documented and it's not considered a non-negotiable, and you're like, I really need to do this, and you know you need to do it, but you really haven't labeled it as a non-negotiable, then you're going to negotiate.
Right.
Right? And you're going to say, it's Saturday. I don't need to do that. I don't need to wake up early. It's the weekend. I can, you know, whatever. Still wake up early. Take a damn nap in the afternoon if you're still sleepy. Right. You know, it is what it is. If you have that much time.
I'm not a napper.
Fuck. I could snooze. I could take a daily snoozer, bro.
I have too much energy, I guess, dude. Like I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, I don't ever go to bed until like around midnight, and I'm always up about 6. And I'm just like, and some days I'm up at 4. The other day I woke up at 3:30, dude. You know, I did a story out on the run the other day. Like I woke up at 3:30 that day, and I was
surprised because I was at the gym. It was like 6 when I posted the thing of me and Bob. And I didn't know you posted, and so I went back and I'm like, "Damn, Kale was getting out here early."
Well, I read for 2 hours, Trev. I'm like, because I was like, "Oh, I'll go read and come back to sleep, and you know, whatever."
Yeah.
But like, I went home that night. I still didn't go to bed till midnight, even though I was up since 3:30. So I only had 3 hours of sleep that day, right? And so sometimes I wish I was a napper, dude. Yeah. I just cannot take a nap.
I can send it any moment. I can take a nap right now. Literally, just. Give me 5 minutes to calm down, put some damn Enya on, kill the lights.
Maybe I need better sleep habits. I need to write that shit down.
Yeah, there you go, right? Sleep, you know, that's super important. But yeah, guys, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please, please, please if you get value out of it, make sure that you're dropping reviews. I know all that stuff helps us, and again, we have the option to do one of two things. We can start running ads on the podcast and trying to make money to help grow the show and get the message out there a little bit more. Or we could just lean on the individuals that are getting value from the show just to, again, this is what we just talked about.
Right.
Give, right. And then hopefully you guys feel that we've given you enough to kind of take action and support us on the other platforms. Make sure that you're dropping a review on iTunes or whatever, if that's where you listen to it. We definitely appreciate it. We posted yesterday in the stories of a couple people that left some messages that, that motivates us. It helps keep us going, right? Like we're human too. We go through ups and downs just as we've talked about. Like the last thing we want you guys to think is we're untouchable or we're this or we've got it all figured out.
Trust me, I've been in some recent downs.
Yeah. Hey, it's fucking life.
Dude, I've slipped. I forgot some stuff that I was like, man, I was doing a lot more podcasting and reading, and I was like really more invested,
zoned in the first,
than I have been lately. That makes total sense. And so now I've been like, dude, I've been doing my garage workouts every morning while I've been doing a YouTube podcast because I'm like, that's kind of cool to come up from a set and watch it and then go back for another set. So anyway, but I have to get back into that mindset. I realize it, right? I'm like, dude, oh shit. I have been slipping on some stuff.
Even if it's like listen to a podcast on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday on the way to work or whatever, and then switch it up with music. It's okay to switch it up, but find what works for you, right?
Exactly.
Sprinkle some value into your life, right?
Yeah, it will evolve. It will change. But as long as you're always doing something to stay invested in
you'll end up in a destination that you really like over the course of a period of time. It's like interest. It compounds. It don't look so sexy on year one, but in 10 years, 20 years, that shit's sexy as hell, right? You're like, damn, I made money. My money made me money, right? Shit like that. So that's really where, it gets fun. So anywho, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure that you guys go to realbusinessowners.com/100. 100. 100. So it's not HU 100.
Yeah.
You know how people are doing it on text. HUNNID 100. No, it's 100. Drop your name, your phone number, and your email, and go ahead and submit it. Once you've supported us either on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, 3 out of those 4, you'll be entered to win. 10 people will win $100. We're gonna pick one person also for $1,000. So it's a total of 11 winners and $2,000. So, guys, we appreciate you. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. I thought it turned out really well. We kind of went on a couple tangents.
It was like nice, just
kind of felt like just more of a conversation than it was like presentation.
And you guys, seriously, we're not going to spam you or anything like that. But it is, we do want to capture your guys' data so that Instagram ever shuts us off or some platform shuts us off or whatever. Like we still connect you guys and be like, hey, we're starting this, app over here or whatever, right? So. Go. If you're a listener, go put your stuff in. We got money we want to give out. We appreciate that we've got people listening to us still after 100 episodes, man. Sure. I'm grateful. So
yeah, you guys need to get your lives figured out. Something's wrong if you're listening to a couple yahoos. But no, we appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day. Take care.